Successful 20-win, Minor Bandit, control deck.
Move, bitch, get out the way, bitch, get out the
Hey, welcome everyone, on my channel. Best Deck series continues on GWC, and this time, I will show you best Minor Bandit poison control deck. Before I start this guide, if you have best deck, that good in challenges and ladder, so you can send me your deck, and your deck guide is my next video. To help other players, for more information see the description, and if you want to join my clan tag is 22JQJCGLR. So you can send your best replays. If you are new and you like my video, then subscribe to my channel. Anyways, let's start the guide. This deck works very well in challenges. I put Ice Wizard to replace Electro Wizard and put Zap in place of the Log to make this deck more defensive, but you can use Log and Electro Wizard also. In this video I put ladder gameplay to better understand how this deck works. I always start with cards breakdown section, to overview card for how you can play card according to this deck, and what strategies are used in this deck. Then, game plans for deck, some useful tips and tricks, matchups for other archetype, pros and cons for this deck, and conclusion for this deck. So in this deck we have Minor, Poison, Inferno Tower, Zap, Knight, Bandit, Ice Spirit and Ice Wizard. So, start cards breakdown section. Minor is the best legendary card and your main win conditions. The Minor is such an amazing card. Minor is a most unique troop because it can be spawned anywhere in the arena. Alone Minor can easily deal a few hundreds of damage, and when coupled with Poison or any troop, it can be devastating. It is also good in killing princesses, pumps, spawners and even glass cannons like Musketeer and Wizard. Not replaceable. His role is not really filled well by any other card. Use the Minor combined with the Poison spell to kill any cheap defensive troops and to damage your opponent's tower. Just a simple Minor plus Poison push can deal over 800 damage on your opponent's tower. Use that at your advantage. Change your deployment. Don't put the Minor always in one spot all the time. If you don't have Knight or the Ice Wizard in your rotation, use the Minor on defense to kill Princess. Bandit is my favorite legendary card. Bandit is a bit underused at the moment because most of the players have not seen her true potential. She is fast, cheap, decent health and moderate damage. So she is great in cycle decks or spam or control decks, or more exactly as most call it, burn deck. She is invulnerable while dashing, so in order to use this properly, always place her at least 4 tiles away from her target. Treat her as a secondary win condition. However, don't depend on her for too much damage. Poison. In this deck, Poison should only be used once you sent your Minor at a tower. The Poison spell should hit the tower and your opponent building. Of course, if he has some on the field, feel free to use the Poison spell defensively. If you don't have any specific counters to a card, never drop your Poison spell at high health troops. It's better to combine the spell offensively with your Minor. Minor plus Poison is just so strong right now. With all the spell bait decks around, you can easily gain tons of elixir advantages when you Minor Poison a tower, as long as they drop something worth poisoning. Rule of thumb is something more than 3 elixir. That would lose more than of its health in the Poison. I'll give a couple of great trades down in the tips section. Poison is also the strongest counter to Graveyard in this deck, so when up against Graveyard, try not to use Poison on offense. Inferno Tower, your perfect defense building, shreds through all the beatdown decks that have been around lately. It's great because it can shut a wide range of cards like Giant, Golem, Balloon, Lava Hound. It should be used only when needed, as it is the most expensive card in the deck, and can be punishing if you misuse it. Best defense in the game, but don't really just in your Inferno Tower. Many players are using the Lighting spell, which could get you in a bad situation if you just drop your Inferno Tower at a big push. If your opponent uses 2 win conditions, try to use the Inferno Tower only at the tank. Usually players would use the Royal Giant combined with the Hog Rider. If your opponent does not use the Hog or any other win condition besides the Minor, Put your Inferno Tower down once a while. This will prevent your opponent to make big pushes, and the Inferno Tower can take out his push. Knight. I hardly ever used this card, but the Knight is actually pretty strong. It's a great mini tank with pretty decent damage and it comes at 3 elixir. Whenever I deal with a beatdown push, I like to drop the Knight off at the support troops to tank for the Inferno while it shreds the tank. This gives your Inferno more lifetime, which severely limits any push they can make, giving you more time go on the attack. Ice Spirit, a cheaper version of Freeze. This card is perfect for giving you a bit more time to attack or defend. If your Ice Spirit is the same level as the opponent tower, then you can drop it at the bridge and then a miner at the tower. The Ice Spirit will tank, allowing your miner to get a few extra hits, which translates to a few hundred points in damage. Since Balloon can sometimes be a pain with this deck, an Ice Spirit on defense will help shut it down. In a pinch you can shut down Minion Horde with Ice Spirit and Zap. Currently, Zap is the most used spell in the game, because of its cheap cost and stun effect, which can be helpful in way too many situations. Usually, cards that should be zapped are low health elixir troops or cards which have very slow DPS. Sparky, Inferno Dragon or Inferno Tower. I can stunt them for some second, and if you have the log then use it. The log currently is a staple in nearly all challenge decks, mostly because of the popularity of hog log bait decks and challenges. Log is used to counter decks which try to bait the log out. Not much to say about the log as everyone knows how to use it. Ice Wizard, with the recently buff, this card in my opinion is currently one of the top 3 legendaries in the game because of its ability to hard counter graveyard poison. 1v1. He prevents a balloon from getting any hits on the tower. Using him to counter minions and horde is very effectively for 3 elixir due to the damage buff. Ice Wizard in this current meta is a beast, and you can use Electro Wizard. He is so amazing on defense as well as offense. Use him to reset Infernos, Princes and Sparky. Electro Wizard will mostly be used on defense first and then followed by a miner or bandit, both in double elixir as a counter push. He is great when coupled with miner, as his stun effect will make the raid target the miner instead of him or other troops. It can also counter a hog if you place him directly on top when hog is 2 tiles from the river in order to take only 1 hit. Also, his spawn damage can kill small swarms. Here is cards replacements. The Zap, Log and Arrows replace the Zap. Ice Spirit, Skeletons. Knight, Mini P.E.K.K.A. Recently buff, this card is best on defense and offense, or you can use Ice Golem. Ice Wizard, Electro Wizard. This 4 card you can replace. General game plan. Starting here, you will analyze what kind of deck your opponent is using. If he places Pump he is mostly likely using Golem. If he places Tombstone he may be using Lavaloon. If he uses Goblin Barrel he is using Spellbait, and if places Bowler he is most likely using Graveyard Bowler. Nado. Try this method in order to get a glimpse of his deck by only seeing his single card. The best ways to start a game are: Knight behind the King. Put Ice Spirit on the bridge. Sending a lone miner. Sending a lone bandit. Try to play slow and less offensive. Mid-game. This is the time when the real battle actually starts. Try to deal as much chip damage as you can with miner and the cheap troops, using poison less for saving elixir for defense, and keep your defense strong with Inferno Tower, Ice Wizard and Bandit. Try to fully analyze his deck and playstyle as well as the counters and way he uses them against Miner and Bandit. Double Elixir. This is the period where you really start becoming offensive. Try to use Bandit and Poison in every mini-miner push. Don't let down your guard however, and keep your defense decently strong. Launch counter pushes with Miner after every successful defense in order to keep up the pressure. Overtime. This is the period where Miner and Miner decks really shine. In this period, the players become really defensive and rely on mostly spells for finishing of the towers. The main reason for this is that it is extremely difficult for troops to get past the enemy defenses. However, Miner does not face this problem much, as long as you can keep on cycling Miner as fast as you can while not letting the defense down, which is really easy because the troops of this deck are not that costly and are only very fast. So cycling and pressuring is really easy, as well as changing the Miner placement every time by being creative. You can't easily take any tower out in simple way. The deck is super fun to play. but requires a lot of focus, because you are constantly pushing and playing aggro. Your main push are Miner plus Bandit or Miner plus Poison or Knight at the back of King Tower. When he reach at bridge, then send Miner plus Bandit combos. Don't wait for Elixir to go to 10, push as soon as you have enough Elixir for the combo. Defend your Miner push with Zap. Against matchups for other Archetype decks, Golem beatdown. Golem decks are costly and rely heavily on pumps. So as long as you keep on destroying pumps and pressuring them on the other lane with mini pushes which can be ignored, you can easily win, because the opponent can build up a strong push and the lone golem will be killed by Inferno Tower easily. Lavaloon. The technique is pretty similar to the above one. Keep on pressuring and you will win easily. Inferno Tower for Hound and Ice Wizard and or Ice for Balloon and support. Miner Poison. Pretty annoying matchup against this deck because the gameplay is almost the same. Whoever is fast in cycling and creative in placement will win the game. Pretty clutch matches. Hog Log Bait. Easy but annoying matchups. Keep Zap reserved for barrels and be aware of the occasional deep barrels they may use against you. They mostly push with Hog plus GG, which can be countered by Ice Wizard and Inferno Tower. I know it is -2 Elixir trade, but Ice Wizard survives with decent health, so opponent will counter it so the trade gets balanced. They counter Miner and Bandit with Skarmy, so keep your poison reserved and try to pre-poison. Graveyard. Keep your poison reserved for Graveyard. However, it is difficult to damage without poison. Another technique is out-cycling them quickly with your cheap troops after pushing with Miner plus poison and recycling back to poison. This tactic is a bit risky though. Pros of the deck: very cheap cycle, easy to use, best defense with Inferno Tower, Ice Wizard and Knight. Shines into Elixir time. It is very good for chip and cycle deck. Cons of the deck: not effective against spawner and spell beat decks. If Golem and Giant gain huge Elixir advantage, then it is hard to get Theer Tower. Hard to upgrade because Theer is 3 legendary card. Tips: drop an Electro Wizard on a lone hog as it is 2-3 tiles after the bridge. This will only let one hit on the tower. Similar Ice Wizard can slow down Hog. Ice Spirit plus Miner combo is deadly. Use its cheap cost to your advantage. Knight plus Ice Spirit is a great defense for elite barbarians, so make sure you have them if your opponent is running them as the offense. Poison for value. I poison the tower and the troop if they defend against my Miner with Skeleton Army, Goblin Gang, Minions, Minion Horde, Musketeer, Wizards, all 3, Witch, Bomber, Furnace, Archers. All of these give you a great trade with poison, as they either die or survive with a sliver while dealing 240 tower damage. Conclusion: in simple way, the deck is super fun to play. You do need to learn how to play this deck because it has a bit of a skill cap, but when you do learn how to play with it, you can consistently defeat quite a lot of other decks with relative ease. That's it for now. Any questions, comments, or insults, post them in the comments below. I hope you like my guide and have a clash-tastic day. If you like my video, then like and share. Keep supporting me to more Clash Royale decks. For this you need to subscribe to my channel. Every best deck for you. I hope you like my guide and have a better day. See you in next meta guide. Stay tuned. Peace.